What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me today. Do you know why I love crypto? It's not just because it is, in my opinion, the greatest opportunity we as a generation, and possibly we as a species, have ever received, but it is also a community that is full of some of the most insightful, driven, hard-working individuals who understand that they have power, that they have a say in the conversation. And when they don't like something, or when they see a problem, they work until that problem is fixed. Despite the negative price action, despite the China FUD, and all the negative news stories, people in this crypto space have their heads down, working, making big moves, and actively trying to change their situation. Now, nothing gets me more excited than waking up in the morning and seeing another major revelation for everyone trying to decouple from the current flawed financial system. And this right here is just another example. I hope you guys are ready for what is going to come in the second half of this year, because I believe the events that unfold could completely derail us from the path that we're on, and, well, quite possibly that might be a good thing, because it seems like the path that we're on is heading right off a cliff. So, now that my rant's over, a quick overview. I've got 3 pretty interesting news stories to talk about today. Argentine lawmaker introduces bill for wages to be paid in crypto. The UFC inks a deal with Crypto.com for $175 million, its largest sponsorship ever. And a US Congressman declares that he invested in Dogecoin, Ethereum, and Cardano. Alright, but before we get into any of this news, if at any point you enjoy this video or find any of this information helpful, please consider hitting the like, hitting subscribe, and turning on my post notifications. It really supports my channel. Crypto is being censored, and I am an extremely small channel, as you all can see. So any amount of support goes a long, long way, and I really appreciate it. Now, what's going on with the Bitcoin price? Well, we have broken out of this ascending wedge formation that we were forming. We came up to test resistance 2 times here, and then we dumped. And interestingly enough, we had a wick down below this trend line here, but we managed to hold this trend line as support. And it also seems like we could possibly be forming a descending wedge formation here with Bitcoin. And looking down here, it looks like on the 4-hour we could be printing an anchor wave right here. So maybe we come up, get another trigger wave, and maybe with the descending wedge formation it looks something like this. And then maybe this is where we get a breakout. We could possibly come down to try and test 30K. And obviously there's always the possibility that we break down below 30K and maybe look to hold support at this 28.6 region. If not, quite frankly, we could be in trouble. But I still want to point out this 12-hour volume, and it is still looking like it is decreasing, and we're possibly printing another trigger wave here to this anchor wave. So there's still a bit of hope in these charts that we could still continue some upward action here in the near future. And quick look at Ethereum. Broke out of this ascending wedge formation, held support at this 2140 level. 4-hour volume decreasing. We could be printing another smaller anchor wave here. The Ethereum chart honestly is not looking too good for the short term. If Bitcoin takes another dump here, we could see it go a bit lower, try and test some of these support levels down here. Maybe we go down to 2000. But moving on from the charts, let's go over to our first news story here. The UFC inks $175 million crypto deal, its largest sponsorship ever. UFC has signed a 10-year, $175 million partnership with cryptocurrency marketplace Crypto.com, according to someone familiar with the terms, the biggest sponsorship in the promotion's history. Crypto.com will be the UFC's first ever global fight kit partner, meaning its branding will appear on the uniform of every UFC fighter who steps into the octagon. The partnership begins this weekend when Conor McGregor faces Dustin Poirier in Las Vegas. So Crypto.com will appear on the uniforms of every UFC fighter who steps into the octagon. That's a good way to get the word out. And beginning this weekend with the Conor McGregor-Dustin Poirier fight, that's going to be one of the biggest fights ever. And this just makes me want to watch it even more, so this is great stuff. If we had talked a couple years ago, crypto might not have been on the radar, but it's sort of a sign of the times, said UFC COO Lawrence Epstein, who declined to comment on the terms of the deal. It's new, but it's moving quickly, and it's very dynamic. And this is what I'm talking about when I say that despite the negative mainstream FUD, the price action, major crypto players are making major moves. And this is a great way to get the word out, in my opinion. Up next, Argentine lawmaker introduces bill for wages to be paid in crypto. Jose Luis Ramon, an Argentine lawmaker for the province of Mendoza, has introduced a bill to allow workers and services exported to be paid the entirety or part of their salary in crypto. I'm gonna go ahead and assume that was translated, which is why the grammar is bad, not because of Nicholas Say. I'm gonna cut you a break here because I know you might have had to translate that, but come on. The intention behind the bill is to strengthen their autonomy and allow them to keep the acquisitive power of their salary, said the congressman in a tweet, adding that this initiative is born of the necessity to promote autonomy over the governance of salary without implying a loss of rights or exposure to situations of abuse within the framework of the employment relationship. Argentina, the third biggest economy in Latin America and the Caribbean, has suffered from increasing inflation and devaluation of its currency over the past years. The current government wants to keep inflation under 30% this year, but many factors indicate it will be unable to do so. According to Victor Becker, an Argentine economist, inflation in the Latin American country could be as high as 60% by the end of the year. Argentina has seen a booming of the cryptocurrency industry over the past years, with digital platforms offering stablecoins like DAI as an alternative to the US dollar. Such options have been increasingly popular for freelancers and expats who depend on international currencies to receive payments, as transferring US dollars to the country results in a high percentage of lost value. What a time to be involved in crypto. This is the first time ever that we have revolutionary news like this taking place on almost a weekly basis. That's another country down. Now who's going to be next? And finally, a US Congressman declares investment in Dogecoin, Ethereum, and Cardano. And basically it says that this guy bought the top. He bought Cardano on May 10th, May 11th, and May 13th. The price of ADA was $176, $155, and $2 on those days, respectively, based on the data from Bitcoin.com. The price of the currency is, well, it's actually a bit lower than that, but I might have written this last night. The congressman also declared that he bought Dogecoin on June 13th. The price was around 32 cents at the time of writing. Doge sits at 23 cents. He also bought Ether on May 5th. The price that day was $4,081. At the time of writing, the ETH price has fallen to $2,370. And here is the periodic transaction report for his investments So we don't know exactly how much each of these investments are for. Could be anywhere between 1,000 and 15,000. And here are the dates for when he bought all of those. So essentially this guy bought the top in May, and this either means one of two things. Either he is ill-informed on the matter and was just doing this to do it. Maybe he only threw $5,000 into this. We don't know. That's probably nothing to this man. Or he does have inside information, and he knows that we have a lot higher to go. Now, I don't know when this report was released, but I'm assuming that since this just came out and all of his purchases were from May and June, that he's got a bit of room before he has to disclose his next purchases. Now, I would be interested to see if he is scooping up more now that prices are a lot lower, and he probably doesn't have to report it for, I don't know, possibly a few months or so. I don't know exactly how it works, but he's got a bit of time before he has to disclose his investments, is what I'm saying. So he could have bought more. Alright guys, well that pretty much does it for this video. Lots of interesting news, very interesting news from Argentina. Let me know what you guys think of all of this in the comments. And yeah, that pretty much does it for this video. If at any point you enjoyed, please consider hitting the like, hitting subscribe, and turning on my post notifications. And I will see you all tomorrow for my next video. Peace out.